One Piece Treasure Cruise is a mess. And this is not an overreaction, this is not like a hot take for a video, a title or something. It's not even an opinion. At this point, it should be a well-known fact. The game went into emergency maintenance yesterday during Treasure Map, back-to-back Treasure Maps that this happens, back-to-back months that this happens, during Treasure Map as well. And this is the message we got from the One Piece Treasure Cruise team today. The maintenance is of course still ongoing. Many problems and errors arrived before the maintenance, like leveling up materials or pirate rumble scrolls being completely lost when trying to level up a character or the unit's abilities. Reward tickets never actually gave you the character you pulled from them, among other stuff. Essentially the game crumbled. Errors everywhere, the game was not functioning properly, so they had to go into emergency maintenance. We see here, other than the classic "we apologize for the inconvenience" template stuff. In the second paragraph, they state, due to the continued patronage of many users over the years of the game in service, the amount of data records of each user has exceeded the limit of the original game's design, which necessitates for a fundamental fix with how the data is handled. As a response to this error, we will be transferring the exceeded data to a temporary space to allow users to resume their gameplay. The emergency maintenance, which also includes this data transfer, may take a couple of days. After the temporary remedy of the data transfer is made, we will be conducting a major fix at a later date to prevent any further instances of a similar error to occur. And then they thank us again for our patience and all that classic stuff. For such a big company, we are not talking about an indie company here, we are talking about Bandai Namco. And I know Bandai Namco, the One Piece Treasure Cruise team, is not the same Bandai Namco that releases AAA titles. But still, for such a big company to have such an important and huge oversight, it's actually pretty crazy. They essentially say, server overload for One Piece Treasure Cruise here. The data records of each user has exceeded the limit of the original game's design. Think about what this means for a second. The One Piece Treasure Cruise original game came out in 2014. It was released a year later, I think, for the global release because the game was officially only in Japan. This issue is not only for global, it is for Japan as well, obviously. So since the game released in 2014, the game's conception and design should have started approximately around 2012, depending on the resources Bandai spent on the release of the game, maybe even 2013, maybe even before 2012. We cannot know, this is just an estimate, but the reason I'm mentioning it is that the game design is almost 10 years old, or maybe even older than that. So you mean to tell me that there is no system capacity threshold alarm to say, hey, we're about to burn here, no type of notification from anywhere sent to the maintenance crew, there are no backlogs, there are no logs that actually state that the life expectancy of the game is from this year to this year, and after that it obviously needs a maintenance overhaul to keep going and functioning properly. There is no way the game went over its life expectancy and no one was like, you know what, we need to do a maintenance check and also set up notifications for when things need a maintenance overhaul or actually to be taken care of so the game can keep going. But of course we don't know what exactly happened, right? Maybe someone got notified but then ignored it or forgot about it and now is in huge trouble. We will never know exactly what happened. And I really don't know if the situation is funny or sad. Maybe it's both at the same time. But it's not an original game design problem in the sense that there is no way anyone back then could have predicted that One Piece Treasure Cruise would last this long. There is no doubt in my mind that One Piece Treasure Cruise has exceeded its life expectancy, which was probably maybe 2 to 5 years, I don't know, but gacha games were not as popular back then. There is no way they thought the game would actually last for almost 10 years. It is even apparent it is an old game design, obviously through the menus, the loading times, the game does feel sluggish, it doesn't feel new, it does feel dated. We go to Extra Island, loading times. We want to find our friend captain and enter a quest for the first time after our login, extended loading time. We want to go back from Extra Island to fix our crew, loading time. We want to enter Kizuna, loading time. So you can see that it's not new game design. And we have seen quality of life updates, fair play to them, right? And I'm sure quality of life updates don't only happen for us the players, for what we see, but it happens for the backend of the game as well. And that's why it seems pretty crazy to me that this actually happened, but it did, and it did during a treasure map. And now more problems arise because of that, because other than the fact that people lost rewards, materials and other stuff because of the errors, we also have to consider the fact that people actually aimed for a specific rank, people are losing out on treasure map rewards, people pulled in the treasure map Sugofest to get the treasure map boosters for an event that is not happening in the time frame that it was supposed to happen. We don't know if treasure map will be cancelled, we do not know if treasure map will be resumed, we have no idea what's gonna happen with compensation, but to be fair, maybe we have bigger worries right now because there's no One Piece Treasure Cruise at the moment. It's not a the treasure map is not playable moment, it is a the game is not playable moment, which is a pretty big jump. And all of that, perfect timing, happens before the big New Year's Super Sugofest. So I'm guessing things are on fire over there at the One Piece Treasure Cruise team headquarters. And now I'm wondering, were the errors from the previous treasure map a sign for things to come? Did they discontinue Arena because they knew this was about to happen and wanted to delay it as much as possible? Find out in the next episode of Conspiracy Theory. In all seriousness, they did not want this to happen, that is a problem for them, they're losing money as we currently speak. Unfortunately though, it does solidify the title of the video. One Piece Treasure Cruise is a mess, and not only a mess in the sense that we do not have events anymore, it's now even a bigger mess. To be fair, this is a perfect representation of what One Piece Treasure Cruise has been for the past year. The whole year we have been thinking as players and discussing the game is not in a good state, the game needs to improve in this aspect, in that aspect, that needs to change, the other needs to change. This is a horrible period for the game, but at least things cannot get worse than that. Well, guess what? It's December and things have actually gotten even worse.